Hey, so we're here in Ellicottville, New York, and we're on site today for not a house set, but the setting of superior walls. And so this is going to be a great location. You'll get a chance to see it in just a minute here, but I thought we'd document a little bit of the process of superior walls going in. So you can see down, well, now there's a tree in the way now. You can see down here, there's some of the walls right there. On the road, and so they'll drive up and pick those up and bring those in here, but you can see the driveway in to the site is just a little uphill. Going to be one of those Barndominiums that a lot of people are asking about. We had a lot of people asking about these houses. Essentially, really what's going on for a Barndominium is usually it's things like, you know, dark siding, dark windows, dark roof, maybe metal roof, maybe not, maybe shingles. And then usually you're gonna do things like, you know, a higher sidewall. So, you know, when you do the attached garage, either right away or in the future, it doesn't look quite so, you know, dwarfing of the house, that sort of thing. Or you could do it exactly the same as the house and kind of keep it as a singular look. So that's usually what people are referring to when they talk about a Barndominium. That's kind of what it is for the ones that are on our site. So I'm getting a lot out of breath as I'm walking up this hill. Stuff like this makes me feel out of shape sometimes. So you can see they're craning it up, way up in the air, coming down. They're setting the walls down here onto this crushed rock base. And so you can see out on the front, so this would be a walkout basement down there, right? And so actually probably easier to see here. So you can see here's a whole bunch of, you know, excavated material taken out, but on the back side here, the view of the, you know, the mountain over here, which looks awesome, especially when you get into the fall and winter season. It looks even more cool because the trees are not quite so full. This is going to be a great spot, great location. Because of the walkout basement, you can see actually if we come over here, let's go, we'll go this way. They got the frost wall, perimeter frost wall in here, right here. So this will be the walkout basement portion. So you still have to come down the 4 feet. So they put these walls in here because this is all going to be exposed here. Back here, you don't need to do that because that will be covered by the earth. So you got to come down 4 feet below so that you can stay below the frost line, so you don't have any heaving or anything like that. So a lot of times when people talk about a house on a slab, which, you know, a fair amount of the inquiries we get about Barndominiums are referring to a house on a slab. And so, you know, even when you do a house on a slab that's truly a slab, which is, you know, think of like a garage, right? There's a concrete slab on the floor. Even in that case, you still have a frost wall that you got to come down with anyway. So it's just a matter of whether you're going to excavate the middle of it or not. And so being in the Northeast, a lot of times people really want that basement. It's a useful space, and especially when you get into a lot like this, it's super useful, right? Because now you're able to do a whole nother floor to this house, which is fantastic. So you can see right now what they're basically doing is they're kind of leveling this out and making sure that this is straight and plumb. And so, you know, they bracket this together, and then once these walls are in, then they'll come out and frame out. This is going to be a wood framed wall here. Sometimes it's not, sometimes it's superior walls, but this is going to be a wood frame wall here. And so they'll do that after superior walls is finished with what they're doing. And then once that's done, then the house can come out. There's also going to be an I-beam on this house as well. So basically you excavate stone, superior walls, wood framing and or I-beam. Either one, doesn't make a difference which one goes first really in that case, because they're not really contingent on each other. But they both need to be in before the house comes out. So the house will be out soon. I think it's not next week, but it's a week after the house is going to come out. So it gives us a little time to do the framing and get the I-beam in here as well. So it will be all ready for this house to come out. Hey, as you can see, they are completely done. They're off-site. They've been off-site for a bit here. I'm just getting back because I was off-site to another building project. But I wanted to get a chance for you guys to see what this looks like all done. So keep in mind, it's all exposed here because this is going to be wood frame construction, walkout framing on this, and so it's a little different. You can do superior walls. We've seen it done plenty of times. In fact, some of the videos that we've done recently on some of those chalets in Ellicottville here around the corner did superior walls on the walkout, so it's certainly something you can do, but sometimes it makes more sense to frame it out on site. We'll figure that out with you together and map that out and see what we should do. And so as you're thinking about your building project, just a couple things to note specifically about superior walls. It's a precast wall, so obviously it goes in really quick, in and out in a day, much like the set of the house, in and out in a day typically. And then it's already framed and insulated, so it helps you out there as well, keeps you from losing space with that insulation wrap on the inside of a poured wall, which is helpful. Plus, you know, that it's already framed, then you save on the lumber for framing the basement. And then also it's already spots run through for lines to go through for plumbing and electric and things like that. So it helps you out in that regard as well. So it's a really great setup if you're thinking maybe I might finish my basement. Saves you time, saves you a little bit of money, especially if you go with a higher wall, like a 9-foot or 10-foot wall. It's usually less expensive than a poured wall. 8-foot can be kind of hit or miss. But for a 9-foot or 10-foot wall, it's usually less expensive than a poured wall. So another pro. You can do whatever you want. We can do a poured wall. You could do ICF. I mean, you could do block if you wanted to, whatever you want to do. But I wanted to show you this and get you a chance to see what this looks like when it's all done. So I want to turn this around. I want to show you the I-beam pocket that's on here too. So you can see right here, there's the pocket for the I-beam. And then the framing for the man door that's going to be out here, and then you can see there's some cuts for, it looks like, sliding glass door here as well. And then there's the other beam pocket, and then a couple windows because there's going to be a couple bedrooms down here. I think this is all living room space if I'm not mistaken in here. And then I think that was a utility space if I'm not mistaken. I'd have to look back at the plans to see for sure. But the other thing that needs to be done, we talked about you know, the dig, the stones, superior walls, framing for the walkout, the I-beam needs to go in, and then, like I said, they're finishing this basement, so they're actually going to do some plumbing for a couple bathrooms, and it's helpful if you can run it in advance. I would say only do it if you know for sure where they're going to be. If you don't know where they're going to be, it might be, you know, might make more sense to just run it out through the sidewall when that time comes and do it that way instead. So as you're thinking about your building project, feel free to reach out to us. As you're watching this video, feel free to leave comments below. Also, I want to remind you that Superior Walls themselves has a great online presence. They got a great YouTube page as well. So I would encourage you to check that out. Also, if you're thinking about Superior Walls and trying to weigh out the pros and cons from your own perspective and your situation, I mean, the majority of the builds that we do these days are with Superior Walls. And so it's a great system, great setup, usually less expensive, sets you up better for finishing your basement. It's faster, especially if you're doing something in the winter, because it's precast, so it's a poured wall before it comes out, so it doesn't have to cure on site. So if you're building through the winter, there's another pro. So there's a lot of advantages to doing Superior Walls for sure, but we're up for doing whatever you'd like. Feel free to reach out to us about your building project, what you're thinking about, the questions you have about it, and check out the rest of the videos that we have here. We try to document as many things as we can, trying to think through questions that we often get, questions that we would have if we were building, and things that are important to be thinking through about your building project, because while there certainly can be similarities from one building project to another, from one site to another, from one floor plan to another, at the same time, it seems like most every build has at least one thing that makes it a little bit unique and a little bit different than another building project. So as you watch through these videos, hopefully you're able to grab something that is helpful for your specific project and something specifically that you're thinking about. But if you're not seeing something, feel free to reach out to us. We're always doing new videos. You know, if you got any feedback about maybe a video that you think we should do, let us know. We'd love to hear from you and see what you think we should be doing and see if we can make that happen for you. Thanks so much for watching.